Joining us now is the Democratic congressman from the state of California, Eric Swalwell. He is also a member of the House Judiciary and Homeland Security Committees. Joining us live here in studio, Congressman. Thanks for being with us here on the Hill. So, sentencing, July 11th. The judge he's got a wide array of slap on the wrist to incarceration. Do you have any thoughts on sort of what that should be? What that should look like?
I was a prosecutor before I came to Congress. The good old days, as I call it. But he shouldn't be treated any better because he's president, shouldn't be treated any worse. And look, when you look at New York, approximately 10,000 cases over the last 40 years have been tried for this charge. 10% of the time, the individuals have gone to prison. And this amount that was defrauded is one of the highest amounts ever. He shouldn't be treated any better, shouldn't be treated any worse. This judge seems pretty fair.
Would you be comfortable with the ruling if he ends up sending a former president to prison?
Again, I don't want to start saying he gets treated better or because he was a former president. So it really should be up to the judge. And if that fits what others have been given, then you know what? Donald Trump made his bed. And now, he's got to deal with it.
$53 million raised by the Trump campaign in just 24 hours.
So they say.
That's what they say, and we'll see the official numbers when they're eventually released. You worried at all that this could backfire on Democrats? The Trump campaign says more than a third of those donations came from folks who had never donated to Donald Trump at any point in time.
So I ran for president. This interview will last longer than that campaign, but we never sat around a table and said, you know what? We can really get this campaign to take off if you get convicted of 34 felonies. Like, to the voters that matter, this is not helping them. I mean, when you look at some of the polls right now, 10% drop off among Republican voters and even more than that with independents. I don't think this helps him, and it looks like it's only going to get worse for him with the other 50 or so cases, or 50 or so counts that are waiting for him.
Any worry that it harms Democrats?
No.
None at all?
No.
Okay. We showed the president's initial response there at the White House on Friday. He then, I want to get your reaction to a couple things, because he then walked off camera and had this question asked of him. Watch.
Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign?
So he didn't answer that question, and then a couple hours later at an event, he was asked this by a reporter at the White House. Do you think this conviction helps Trump in the election? The president said, quote, I have no idea. The reporter then asks, are you worried that this could happen to you someday? President Biden says, not at all. I didn't do anything wrong. The system still works. What should be the response here from President Biden? The campaign's going out and saying convicted felon. Are we going to see President Biden get to that point? And should he, or should the initial response be the right one and stick?
I should. My colleagues should. As a convicted felon, you can't have a security clearance, you can't serve in the military, and you can't go to many countries that are our allies. We want our president to look at national security secrets. We want him to travel abroad. We want him to have credibility with the military. But I think Biden's right to say, that essentially this is not about a victory for any person. It's a victory for the rule of law. And Donald Trump has taken a wrecking ball to the rule of law for the last 8 years. And so this represents a jury of his peers, because this guy, he decided to live in New York. He committed his crimes in New York, and he was judged by his neighbors in New York. So to attack the verdict attacks those 12 people who brought justice.
So for lack of a better term, surrogates, right? You're obviously a member of Congress, but folks who want to support the president, you're saying go on the attack, but the president, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the president sort of keep that tone?
Do his job. That's right. And it's my job to point out that this election's about character of Joe Biden versus the conviction that Donald Trump has.
Okay, let's talk about the top issues in the election. Obviously, the president's age is one of them. He can't change that. You can't. No one can. It is what it is. You think what you think about age. The other issue, though, of course, at the top is the economy. We learned today, or this week, inflation, the Fed's preferred metric, 2.7%, means they're probably not cutting interest rates anytime soon. Housing prices hit an all-time high in the month of March, up 7.5% in a lot of the major cities. The president hasn't really talked about Bidenomics for months now. How big of is this your biggest worry for the president, the economy, or is it something else?
The economy is always going to be top of mind, but this is a jobs presidency, and so we should lean in on that, because if you want a job today, chances are you can get a job, and if you get a new job, a very high likelihood you're going to get paid more than the last job. So we need to really hammer that this is a jobs presidency. On those other issues, give the president the chance to finish the job, to bring down the cost of prescription drugs, as we've already done, will do, bring down the cost of gas and groceries, and again, to compare character and competence against, a corrupt and incompetent leader.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.